Alrighty, Brian. So first off, let me ask you, how excited are you to release your upcoming country EP, Gay Country?
I'm really excited. I've had these songs in my pocket for a minute, so to finally have them ready to go and to have the plan rolled out, that is really exciting. I want to share it with people.
Good. Is there an official release date yet?
Yes, March 10th. I
March
guess
10th?
I guess I'm allowed to say that. Why not? Why not?
In March, at least, yes.
March, yeah.
Well, the last times I've interviewed you, we've talked about your ventures into music, but I was very surprised to learn that you were pursuing country. What made you want to go down this genre?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up listening to country. I when I graduated college, I worked in country music radio for 4 years, and I really fell in love with like the genre and the format. But I was going through some shit at the time, and I didn't see myself reflected in these songs per se. They were like speaking to me and resonating with me, but I was like, they're just not quite there. So I started to try and write my own songs, and then yeah, I kind of got, it was really fulfilling to sort of write down my emotions via song for the first time. And then I just kind of hooked after that. And but yeah, I mean, country's always been sort of like, I think for a while I was trying to like walk the line and not be too country, or just see where the music kind of took me in a lot of ways. And then with this project, I kind of just leaned into the fact like, hey, I love country music. All of artists are country. So I kind of like let myself go there. And also there's not a bunch of queer representation in country music. So I wanted to sort of be bold about saying that there should be. And so this project is like, I feel like the only way to do that with this project was to make it as country as possible, but then also make it as queer as possible. So that's kind
Mhm.
of what we did. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, yeah, as we all know, the country music genre has not been the most inclusive when it comes to the LGBTQ plus community. Have you faced any challenges?
Yeah, I mean, like, I've recently gotten onto TikTok, trying to keep up with the kids, and I'm getting the music out there, and yeah, like I'll get some hateful comments, like don't get your queerness on the country and all these things, and but honestly, it just gets me more excited because um, I mean, for every like hater, there's a ton of people who are coming out of the woodwork being like, wow, I've been waiting to see myself in country music. It's so wonderful to have a song that I can relate to. So like it's worth it,
Yeah.
and there is some backlash. I mean, I feel like from an industry standpoint, mainstream country radio is not even the goal really, because mainstream country radio isn't really partaking in this representation conversation in the way that I think that they should be. But what's really cool is that like, because it's 2023 and everything's streaming, there's like all these new, and there's social media and there's TikTok, there's all these new lanes opening. And so
Mhm.
queer artists are filling those, and country music is a big umbrella term. So we don't necessarily need to be on the radio with the same format over and
Yeah.
over. And we can make it a more inclusive genre, even if the mainstream like gatekeepers aren't like letting it be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And overall, those views are changing. I mean, we might have a couple haters here and there, but overall, a good majority, I think those views are changing with country music and queer representation.
No, absolutely. And I think what's really cool about country music, especially like queer country music right now, is there's a lot of really cool things happening. But I wanted to make a project that was like the sounds I grew up on, that late
Mm.
90s, early 2000s sound. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm loving everything everyone is doing in the queer country lane, but I want that nostalgic feel, and I wanted it to be queer. So that again kind of gave myself permission to do that with this one.
Awesome. So, is there an overall story Gay Country is telling?
Um, Kind of like the lead single sort of does that, right? The lead single is the same old country love song, and I'm proud of that one because we're literally just trying to all we're trying to say is that this is the same song you've heard 1,000 times and
Yeah.
it's play now. So we're not saying there's anything wrong with country music. I love country music, right? That's why this album exists. I grew up on it. I voted for Carrie Underwood on American Idol like 500 times. And then I started watching the country music awards shows and I was really into it, right? Where and then it's just that's what the project's doing. It's taking a lot of like country tropes and turning them on their head a little bit. There's a song that I'm really proud of on the EP on the album called "When You're Home, Don't Feel Like Home," and that's because in country music, there's all these songs about how great your hometown is, right? But sometimes that's not the experience when you're queer, when you grow up and you don't feel like you belong, right? So there's a song that sort of like takes that thing that everyone talks about in country music, but we attack it from a queer angle, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And you've already released three singles from the EP. Hottest Guy Here, Same Old Country Love Song, and Big Boys Club. How have they been received?
Great. Same Old Country Love Song is like my biggest song to date, which is exciting. And I think that's just with if you consider the message, I think that's just a testament to how left out people have felt by the genre, because that song is signed out like a anthem of inclusion. And yeah, it's been really encouraging. You know, a lot of this work I do as an independent artist is to sort of like self-validate and self-reassure that my efforts are good, that it's worth spending my time doing this. And sort of not relying on external validation to keep going, because I feel like if I did that, I would run out of gas quickly, right? Because it's a tough industry. And but then to like release a song and have like thousands of people message me and be like, wow, this is actually really good, right? It was good to not have to do the internal labor this time of like, no, Brian, you did a good job. Like, you should be proud of yourself. Like, I had people doing that for me on this one, which was like a really nice, like change of pace, you know? And then, yeah, Hottest Guy Here was a follow-up single, and then Big Boys Club. People seem to be really liking Big Boys Club. We just put it out on Friday. So, uh, yeah, I'm just excited.
Good, good. And your next single, Skip the Step, will be released on February 10th. What can you tell us about this track?
Yeah, so that one's real fun. It's roll your windows down, crank it up vibes. But like if you listen to the lyrics, it's actually pretty sad. It's one of those like we kind of tricked you into thinking it was a happy song, but it's actually kind of sad. It's based on a conversation I had in therapy once, which I was going through a relational ending and it was kind of painful. And I was doing everything I know to do to process that. I was meditating, I was journaling, I left town, I was talking to friends, I was going to therapy, I was doing all the things, but I couldn't like escape the pain. And then I was like, oh, I have to feel the pain. So like it's like you can't skip that step, you can't just jump to processing and healing. You have to feel the hurt, so that's what
Yeah.
the song's about, kind of.
Cool, cool. Well, is there anything in particular you hope listeners take away from your album?
I want it to be for them what it was for me, which is just like permissive and fun and allowing. Yeah, I think especially in a genre like country music, it's all about formula and perception and like fitting into a mold often. And with this project, I let myself just have fun and not pay attention to the rules. And so I hope that like while people are listening, they get that, that it feels familiar in a wonderful nostalgic way, because it's songs, it's a similar vibe to what they've heard, but it's also turning it on its head in a way that will hopefully like help them question, the same constructs that I questioned while creating it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Great. And you have credited the likes of Casey Musgraves, Orville Peck, Brandy Carlisle, and even Trixie Mattel as being some of your biggest influences. What are you going to do to open doors for more queer people to feel seen within the genre?
Yeah, I mean, I think just continuing to be as authentically visible
Hmm.
as possible and sort of lead by example in that way, knowing that there's a lot more, even more diverse voices that need to be emerging in this genre. So I hope that by, sort of just owning my authenticity in this lane, people can see that and be like, oh, I can do that too. And then, introduce their story. I mean, country music at its heart is storytelling, and
Yeah.
LGBTQ persons have stories to tell, and I think it's crazy that there's not more queer stories in country music. Like it's built for it, you know?
I agree, definitely. Now, you became a figurehead for the LGBTQ plus community after playing the gay kid Billy Fancy Pants in School of Rock. But when I talked to you before, you've been wanting to escape that image. Is that the case anymore?
Yeah, I feel like it's fluctuated over the years, right? It's not that I want to escape the image. It's um I remember once in college, like someone came up to me and they're like, I heard you hate talking about School of Rock. And I was like, well, then why are you talking to me about it? I was like, no, I don't hate it. It's just, we're about to come up on the 20-year anniversary, right?
Yeah.
So it's different now. It's not happening as much, but for a very long time, it was impossible for me to like enter a social circle without being referred to as the gay kid from School of Rock, right? So
Mhm.
it's like to just sort of always have this like pre-existing perception of you was annoying, but
Yeah.
at the same time it's such a talking point. Similarly to this album, like I know that people watched my character on screen when they were younger and that it allowed them to feel like they could be who they want to be, right? So I don't want to deny that part of the conversation because I think it's important, the representation conversation. And also all the work, the self-work I've done in order to like be okay with that chapter of my life and the hardships it caused me afterwards and like whatnot. Because I think if I focus on the full circle part of it all, it's kind of beautiful. So it's like,
Yeah.
yes, I love talking about it like now because of what it signifies, but like no, me and my friends aren't going to be like talking about it on a Friday night, right? We're gonna like please don't bring it up. I don't ever want to talk about it. So like yes, like it's a little bit of both, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was awesome to see that Jack Black gave Same Old Country Love some TikTok love.
Yeah, I know. Like what the not only did I luck out by being in this crazy popular cult classic film, but 19 years later, the star of it is still like supporting me, which is
Yeah,
just
that
that's unbelievable.
that's awesome. Do you believe the film is still making an impact on people and pop culture?
Yeah, I think so. From what I hear, like I know it inspired a lot of kids to pick up instruments. I think it aged well, which is like
Mhm.
hard to say about a lot of things from that time, right? So
It lucked
that's
out.
what you say?
It lucked out.
Yeah, like it's like I watch actually I haven't watched it in a while, but a friend watched it recently and they were like it like really aged well. And like I was thinking about it and I was like, yeah, I can't think of anything specifically that wouldn't have aged well, So it's I'm sure maybe there's something, but it's good. Someone recently told me that it's like me and my friend were having a long conversation about how any movie can be a Christmas movie if at Christmas time it gives you the Christmas feels, right? And she was
Okay.
like, Rock is a Christmas movie for me. Like I watch it at Christmas time and I was like, wow, that's crazy. So like I think it's got a life, which is
Mhm.
wonderful.
Yeah.
I like seeing the way like there's TikTok trends around it and all that kind of stuff. So like, yeah, I guess I don't even remember what your question was.
It's just still making an impact on people and pop culture, but I think clearly it is, yeah. What do you remember enjoying the most about filming?
Um, I think the thing I enjoyed the most about filming was probably like how close I became with the other castmates. And then like also just like kind of how special those relationships were because we were doing something that like no one does in the fifth grade, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we were like and having this like really unparalleled fifth grade experience where we were treated like stars every day and like we were working hard at the same time and like working like 12-hour work days at times or like whatever it was like things you don't do as a fifth grader, right? And like getting to skip school to go to set and like things like that. So it's like and like there's similar to the representation conversation, there's something tangible when we've all shared an experience, right? So to have bonded with those people in that way. I remember going back to school afterwards, coming from this like really special, unique experience was like, okay, so now what? It's like so like there's something beautiful about that.
Yeah, for sure. Are you still doing your gay life coach podcast?
At the moment, it's on hiatus.
Mm.
Just the music stuff's kind of taking up a lot of time, and I'm still writing blog pieces and I'm putting those out, and we'll probably revitalize the podcast at some point. But um, no, the short answer is no.
Okay, it's just on hold right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what are some future goals you hope to accomplish with your overall career?
I mean, I'm just kind of excited about the stuff that's behind this. You know, I've been working on these songs for a while and I've had them in my pocket for a while. It's always interesting when you release music because by the time you release it, you're sort of already on to a different chapter of your life personally.
Hmm.
And so like these songs, I wrote them like 2 or 3 years ago, right? So it's like I'm putting them out as if they're me now, but they're not really. Like, you
Yeah.
know, they're me 2 years ago. So it's like I have stuff that I want to share already. So it's like I'm honestly just thinking like what's the best way to package the next project, right? While I'm also sort of putting this one out there. And we've got a bunch of like fun stuff lined up for festival season and pride shows and
Good.
stuff. So it'll be a busy spring, and then I'll probably hopefully get back to writing, recording in the summer.
Okay, awesome. Well, Brian, how can one stay up to date with you?
I think the easiest way is just on Instagram, which is my name, BrianFalduto. And yeah, from there you can like branch out. I got like that link tree thing and yeah.
Cool, cool, perfect. Well, then before we wrap up, are there any other upcoming projects or anything else you would like to mention or plug at this time?
Not that I can think of. Just everyone go download Big Boys Club or Skip the Step or Hottest Guy Here or Same Old Country Love Song or whatever speaks to you.
Okay. And the EP, March 10th?
March 10th, the album.
The album, yes, the album, March 10th.
Yeah.
Awesome. Fantastic.